Hey everyone, welcome to Podcast Corner. So my name's Dan, and in today's episode of Freedom Road Family and Friends, we have YVIC. So joining us is...
Hi, my name's Barry, and I'm joining this dude in this studio.
I'm person free.
I'm Leo. I'm here to talk about stuff.
Yeah, cool. So we've got all you here today. So does maybe one of you want to explain just what YVIC is? Because I actually don't know what YVIC is. So let's have some explanations. I can't talk today. So we're going to have one of the young people tell us now.
Okay, YVIC basically is where you get, a bunch of people who have, similar situations in care or something, or if you're not, and, basically you talk and have fun and help make friends with your situation, and you can basically talk about how your situations are different or the same, and, gives you an opportunity to improve or, to have a better opportunity in life of, helping each other with your situations.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. So I know we spoke about it before the podcast, but everybody here is in care in some sort. Is that right? So you wasn't here before, Barry, but I'm adopted myself. I got adopted when I was just after 1. So I'm not saying it's the same as all you, but I've gone through some similar kind of things. So it's kind of really great to do a podcast like this. So I think that's a really great kind of explanation of what YVIC is. So why don't we all kind of get to know each other, and why don't someone say something interesting about yourself and kind of maybe something you did over summer at YVIC? Whoever wants to go first can go for it.
We went to Alton Towers. Some people missed it because of situations of say for instance they got COVID and had to get social distancing and stuff. So some of us went to Alton Towers and it was really fun.
Yeah, we went fishing. We where was it? It was at Beverley, wasn't it? There was 7, 8 of us who went, weren't they? And I ended up getting a job at the fishing place. It paid really well, so but I only went once because I got a bit bored and people are a bit annoying. So, and it just didn't really suit me, the job either. We also went to Room 42, which was in the Guildhall, yeah. And that was really good. We all went and played some board games. We had coffee. We had coffee machine. It was really good. We had some biscuits we thought were out of date, but they weren't. We started a game of Monopoly, but then we didn't get to finish it because, Monopoly is a competitive game. And then we went, we did some colouring, met some new people, socialised a bit, and then, who was it who came? Corporate Parenting Board, and we just got to talk a lot about, our home situations or what's going on in our lives with social workers and stuff.
So this was all with YVIC, what you've done?
Every bit of it.
So how did it feel meeting, new people at this? Was it a conference kind of thing? Would you say?
Well, YVIC have got their own room at the Guildhall.
Okay.
It's room 42. There's games, coffee, machines and stuff like that. And then, the corporate parenting board, they decide where we go and stuff.
Okay.
So it was a meeting to talk about our feelings about that and stuff.
Yeah. So was it nice to meet new people? Meet new people who have kind of gone through very similar backgrounds to all of you.
Yeah, it was also to talk about I brought up the fact about social workers not listening to children and leaving without telling you. So then you wonder where they've gone and a new one comes and you've got to explain it all back. Mm-hmm. So I explained that and we all basically built on it really well, I think, because it was all our situations of having more than one social worker and then the leaving without anyone knowing.
Yeah, so can I quickly go on to what you've just said there? So obviously I've only think I've ever had one social worker for a bit. Obviously, being adopted is a bit different, and I've never gone through foster care or the care system. But what's it kind of like? What 1 minute having, let's say, Bill as your social worker, and the next minute you have Alan. What's that kind of like for you, mentally? And do you know what how's that feel? Obviously, like I said, kind of talk about what you feel comfortable about that, obviously, as well.
I think it's quite weird because you end up having a social worker which you get really attached to. Like I had a social worker. She was really nice in that. She's still apparently my social worker, but I haven't heard from her for so long. And I've got who's apparently working with her, but I only see him. So like, then you get attached to one social worker that is really, I don't know, like understanding and knows what's happening. And the day you go, you don't know what's happening. And then another one comes and you've got to explain all of your past, all of your emotions and everything to them, when the first one knew everything about you and everything.
So I bet that is, like, just hearing from you, it's very frustrating and very maybe emotionally draining as well.
Yeah.
To kind of having to keep bringing up the past. I know for myself, obviously, if you have to tell someone every 25 seconds your past, it can be a little bit emotional. Has anybody else kind of got a feeling or opinions on that?
Well, obviously, I haven't had the same situation as these lot because obviously I've had my social worker since I was about 6 years old, so probably about 8 years. And I think it was really sad, like, listening to their situations and obviously, like, imagining what they had to go through because it is difficult, obviously, as they say. I can't imagine having a new social worker because I've got that many connections and bonds with my social worker that if I lost them, I'd probably be so upset and I just wouldn't know what to do. And it's the fact that what she said about getting a new social worker and having to explain it all to them all over again, I think that'd be like really difficult. So obviously I do feel sorry for them because they obviously have had difficult situations, and I feel like there is a lot that they could do to help us, like getting a new social worker, telling that person, obviously telling them, well, I'm gonna like leave, you're gonna have a new person, like explaining to the new social worker obviously what they've been through instead of that actual young person telling them what they've been through, because otherwise it's just emotionally draining for all, obviously, the young person themselves.
Yeah, totally. Like when I was at school, I used to have like one-to-ones because obviously being dyslexic and stuff and struggling with my work. And for me, it kind of was frustrating when I had different people. I know it's a bit different, but it's very similar. And because I've got attachment issues, and I don't mind talking about that, and I've got loads of other things because of being adopted. And I think it was kind of like I was struggled with having different people. And then I had a guy called Neil who was so nice and kind of really helped me in doing that. And I think the main point why that was is because he was adopted too. So I felt that connection, and he really helped me to be more kind of thing of actually, this is something I said at my brother's wedding, was kind of like being adopted is quite good because actually I got chosen by someone and my mum got whatever came out. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I think in everything, in every situation like this, if you're in care or being adopted, you kind of, there's some good things that come out of it as well. If it's kind of the past of your life and actually being in care might be even better than actually being in your home setting. So there's loads of things that are good that comes out of it as well. And I know there's a lot of bad as well in foster care or care homes. And I know there's a lot that maybe needs fixing. And that, is there anything that you would say that you've got one thing that for you is really personal, like this needs sorting because, well, it shouldn't be happening?
I think that social workers shouldn't be leaving, like, without telling somebody, like, the person who you're working with, I don't know, say, for instance, a little girl, I don't know, or a little boy, and they're working with them because of all the issues they've gone through and stuff, and then they just leave. I think people, like, the social workers should tell, like, the adults who are, like, fostering or adopting the child, and, like, tell them so then they know, like, that they've not left them because of them, because they might think that they've left because of that child or because they were naughty or something. But if you, like, tell them that it's not because of them and it's because there's another child they need to look after or something, or they've got a new job opportunity, then tell them that and not just, like, leave them and make them think that it's all on them and not.
No, yeah, and I totally understand that, like, kind of. I think, like you just said, maybe just like the carer or not your carer, is it? It's your social worker, that's the one. Just kind of like 1 minute is there 1 week and then the next week you've got someone new, and for you that maybe might be frustrating of actually like, have I done something wrong? Have I done something to upset them? And I think maybe even if I think the way that I've always thought it could help and do it is where, like, obviously if they know that they're going to stop being your social worker, then it's in like a couple of a week process where they go like, and give you a date, like on the 12th of July, whatever, they're going to be kind of not your social worker anymore, and they can kind of then bring the new social worker in, and then your old social worker can tell the new social worker, actually your situation, you don't have to do that, and kind of you can meet them together. And I think as well, you should kind of get a bit of a choice on who your social worker is, because if you don't feel comfortable with them, then how they're meant to help you out. And that's something I've always kind of been frustrated at, being part of Freedom Road and seeing people go, yeah, this social worker, I don't like them, and then I get one that's really great. And I think there needs to be a bit of flexibility in that. I don't know if that makes sense. So, yeah, totally agree with everything you're saying, and I think something needs to happen. And even maybe, I think young people who are in care could maybe have a bit of a stand for it. Like this podcast, I think we're saying, like, maybe talking about it more and actually trying to change the care system away. And I think that's a great idea. And maybe this podcast might have an impact on that. Because obviously, at the end of the day, it's young people's life that have an impact in this. Has anybody got anything else to add? And we'll maybe try and move on. It's a bit of a... Anybody got anything to add? Yeah, go on.
I do a thing called Head Start as well. I'm going on Saturday and that, and we do campaigns basically about, I don't know, like anti-bullying and a lot of things. And we did one about social workers and that, and it kind of really helped me to understand like basically how many people are actually missing the social workers from them leaving.
Cool, thanks for sharing that. I think we've worked with Head Start Freedom Road. Has anybody got anything they actually want to talk about at all?
On about social workers, there's only been one social worker that I actually got to know because they stayed for quite a long time. And whenever I think about him, I just cry because I miss him that much. He was just the best social worker I've had because he understood me, he cared about me. He even came out on his own time so I could have contact with my brother so he could supervise it. That's how much he cared about me. And then he got another job opportunity and said, I didn't want to do this, but I've got to go to keep my job as a social worker. And I just burst into tears.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want him to go.
And I bet that must have been hard on you, obviously. No, and I think this is the thing that I've always, struggled with, is once you build that connection with someone, like with Ian, who's in charge of Freedom Road. I've known him, like, since I was 7, and I built this really strong connection with him. And, like, everybody else, like, every youth group I went to, I always got kicked out because of my behaviour. But with Freedom Road, they really kind of stuck with me, kind of really helped me with everything and never gave up on me, and that's what I needed. And I think sometimes young people who have gone through any kind of care need that kind of reassurance actually that this person is here to stay. And I think that's where Ian's been an absolute rock to me, and I think that's where I think you need them social workers to really stay with you as long as they can, because I think you need that kind of reassurance and that kind of, what's the word?
Acceptance?
Yeah, that's totally it. I think once you feel accepted by someone and they're like, and you can feel that you can talk to them about anything of your situation, and they can either maybe kind of relate with you or accepting of this and not actually like saying things that actually like, well, I didn't actually, why are you saying that? Or maybe gossiping about what you've said to them. I think the social workers, when you have people like that, are great because it's kind of like you just feel that acceptance by people.
Yeah, when you get a good relationship or a bond with someone, you can't. It's really hard to let them go, if you know what I mean. Like when they leave.
Totally. No, I totally get that.
I think it's better when they tell you that they're going to leave, because if they didn't, then you'd feel more bad, more upset than you'd actually would do, because if they're left, you might start thinking bad things like they've abandoned you.
Yeah. And I mean, we didn't really have a subject, but I think we're talking about social workers now. And I think it's great that you all can sit here and honestly have an honest conversation about this, because obviously it's a big subject, and I think for all you it's quite personal as well, I would say. But let's move and enlighten the subject a little bit. So I want to get to know you. So let's go. I hate going around the circle, but let's go around the circle. Which way? Which way we go around? We'll go that way and skip across. So, tell us one interesting fact about yourself.
I absolutely adore animals.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. What's your favourite animal?
Dogs.
Dogs.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you like cats?
Yeah.
Get out.
Dogs more.
No cats. Actually, I will say I only like one cat, and he's called Rami. And every other cat, no.
The only cats I like are hypoallergenic cats.
What?
Hypoallergenic.
What are them?
They've got no fur, so you can't be allergic to them.
Them cats, like the wrinkly ones. Anyways, come on, keep talking about you. We're interrupting.
I have 2 dogs.
Yeah.
And whenever my family isn't there to look after them, I like walking them, feeding them, things like that.
Yeah. What about you then? Come on, tell us an interesting fact. Not about wrinkly cats.
I'm not interesting, but I do something called St Dromlands Cadets, an operational cadet there. So we do first aid at events like Hull Fair, Glastonbury, and events like that. I've recently done Hull Fair with St John's. It was technically my first operational event because I joined the unit I'm at about 4 months ago, and 4 months ago was in a bad situation with coronavirus. Yeah. But because that was back on, and they said, "Do you want to do Hull Fair as your first event?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll quite happily do it." And in that time, I had to resuscitate 4 people.
What?
Yeah, I had to resuscitate 4 people.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
That's what that means.
Resuscitate, bring
CPR.
someone back to life. Like, staying alive.
Incorrect.
Staying alive. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, it's not staying alive anymore. You can use the same beat. It's called Nelly the Elephant now.
My God, yeah, Nutella. God.
You like Nutella?
Love Nutella.
I mean, I'm sure we had a conversation about
We
how
did.
you was like jumping out of windows because of Nutella.
Oh God. Spoonful of Nutella and we're already climbing out windows. Don't worry that it was like shallow windows, like it was like a foot off the ground. Upside down out of windows, cartwheeling all around, honestly, running up and down with the Nutella. So
Basically,
fun,
anybody that knows this person, don't give her Nutella.
it's alright. I had a spoonful of Nutella for my breakfast the other day. It was really good. I had digestive Nutella sandwich. Amazing. Chocolate digestive Nutella sandwich.
What?
Chocolate digestive, spoonful
What?
of Nutella, chocolate digestive, and eat it.
Do you need help? Do you need to see someone?
Right, I actually think that digestive, like, the actual, like, mix should literally make those because they are amazing. Or chocolate digestive with Nutella on the other side. So it's like a full-on chocolate biscuit. Just full chocolate. It's so good, honestly.
I'll be getting you someone to see next week. About that. Go on, what about you?
I'm good at
Football?
I do football.
What position? Come on. Do you like a
Defender.
position? Defender? Nice. What, do you play for a team?
Used to.
Do you? Yeah, my brother's a goalie keeper. I'm going to just put his business in here because why not? But he runs a business and stuff. Like, I hate football, but if that's something you're interested in, great. Because I think everybody's got their own passions and interests, and I think it's great when, I'm going to bring this up, but football is mainly, I would say, a very male kind of game, and I think it's always great when you see, when you see, like, females doing it, joining in, being part and loving it, because I think that's really great. And it's like with drumming, obviously me being a drummer, like, and it's great when you see young kind of female drummers coming out, because I just think it's really great to see them things that are, I would say, typically like a masculine thing, men thing, with like young females doing it. I just think it's great to see that, and that's something that we always try and do in Freedom Road, is kind of being acceptive of everything is for any gender, no matter, and I think that's great. So yeah, you should keep up football if you love it.
Yeah.
Get
I do.
into a team.
You know, I used to play for my school.
Did you?
Yeah, I had to quit though because it was like too far away from my house.
So before closing up, we're just going to quickly talk a little bit about, obviously, kind of what care you're in and a little bit about how YVIC has helped. So whoever wants to kick it off, go for it.
When I first moved from my mum's to residential care, I thought like my life couldn't get any worse, and my new social worker came in that. But they signed me up into YVIC, and I didn't realise it, but I actually made some good friends, and I found out that there was a light at the end of the bridge, basically, so I could actually dig myself out of a hole and, yeah.
No, I always like using the light at the end of the bridge.
Never heard of it, I just made it up.
Did you? I always use it. I honestly always use. There's a light at the end of the bridge. So
I always use light at the end of the tunnel.
So when I first moved into care, I was like a bit confused because I had no idea what it was. I actually didn't. I was 9, and I was just like, yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen. And I was like,
Stranger.
yeah, I'm going to live with someone. I have no idea who they are. And obviously, I moved into care. It was quite good because obviously my brother was quite happy. Obviously, there was like some stuff in the, I'd like play stuff in the garden. And he just went on there. He's like really happy and stuff. So I thought, well, if he's going to be happy, then obviously I'm going to be happy because wherever he is, I'm there all the time and I'm happy. So I was like quite alone at first because obviously I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know obviously what was happening. And I just thought, what's like going to happen from now on? What's going to be the plans? So a couple of years passed and obviously people went and people came. It was quite eventful, I'll just say that.
Was it a good or a bad experience?
It was more of a mixed emotions experience. There was parts of it where it was really good, parts of it was really bad. I think as I grew up, I had a lot of disagreements with people. But I think being in care, obviously, it changed me for the better. Obviously, I'm a lot better person than I would have been growing up in that environment. And then obviously lockdown came and then it hit because obviously we were just all alone and couldn't socialise with anyone and couldn't go out, couldn't see anyone. Obviously having COVID twice, so that was stupid. And then obviously isolating even more and more, just having no one to talk to, being in the same house, same situation every single day was just really draining. Not getting to see anyone was really upsetting, just not being able to socialise. And then obviously got an opportunity to go to YVIC, and that was really good because obviously I had no idea what it was, no idea what I was getting myself into. And then I joined the first online meeting with YVIC, and honestly, one of the best days I'd had in a very, very long time. Got to meet a lot of new people, got to speak to people. Obviously, they understood me, they knew what was going on, they knew how I felt, and it was just really comforting to know that other people were like me and other people knew what I was going through. And going through similar situations, so that was really nice. And then honestly, the people in YVIC, honestly, best friends. Just got on with them so well, and I'm really thankful that opportunity came to me because now, obviously, sat here in this room doing this podcast, getting to see other people, it's really nice because obviously we get on so well.
I'll just say my mum, she wasn't very well. She wasn't able to look after me. So social worker said, go into courts, got an interim care order, and that's me in care. I've had about 20 different foster carers before I ended up in residential care. Some of it was my fault because of my anger, but I didn't know how to express my feelings at that time because my anger just got the better of me. got to a point where I was threatening a lot of things because I didn't know what to do. And I actually felt like I wasn't going to live anymore because I was that depressed. But then my social worker said after my last foster placement, I think being in residential care will benefit you. And it has massively, because not just the opportunities that I've got, like go karting or something to boost my mental health, like talking to people, actually knowing people and caring about people, where when I was in foster care, because I didn't get to know them quite a lot, I didn't care about them. I know it's dark and deep, but I didn't get to know them.
Yeah, thank you for kind of opening up and talking about personal things. But I think it's great that you social worker kind of pulled the finger out and kind of moved you somewhere that they thought would actually help you out, and I think that's great. And I'm kind of really glad that you're somewhere now that's good in your life. So yeah, thanks for sharing. What about you then? You're the final person.
Before I came into care, I lived with my family. But throughout my life, my entire family's gotten split up because of things that have happened. So I got split up with my mum and my family. So I was living with my sister in foster care for about a year, and it was good there. But after that, I was really happy because my mum had gotten better. She didn't drink or do any drugs like she used to. So I moved back in with my mum, and it was going really well. Was getting along. But we started to argue a lot again. And it was a bit like it was before, like it had all come back. So I didn't really have all the support I needed. But now I'm in care, I've got all the support I need, and I get all the things done that I need to do.
So, like, would you say being in care for you is better than living at home?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. No, good. And you know, I'm kind of, like I just said to you, that I'm really, like, and honestly, I'm not just in this, really glad that you're at a place in your life where you can actually be happy and have a steady home life. And yeah, I think that's great. So I think we've come to the end of the podcast. Anyways, so we've come to the end, and just want to say again, it's amazing that you've all been open. I know it's hard. Like, I hate sitting here and interviewing people because it feels awful, because I hate talking. But it's great that you've all spoken and been open about things. So thank you for listening and listening to this week's episode of Friends and Family. No, Freedom Road Friends and Family. Got to get that right. These names are a mouthful. I've been Dan.
Sir Barry.
Person free.
Leah.
Don't forget to give a like and a follow, and we'll see you next time.